morning, good afternoon, good evening. How is everybody? Welcome to another episode of Roll Around, Find Out. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about a RPG system, rule set, complete game called Hero Kids. As seen here on the main title, it is a fantasy role-playing game for kids aged 4 to 10 by Justin Halliday. Maybe I'll make it a goal of mine to reach out to Justin Halliday, or at the very least see if there are other podcasts out there or interviews, and link those in the description, because I think Hero Kids, despite the name, can apply to anybody over the age of 10 as well. I think there's a lot of cool things to take from this system, and I think it's got a whole suite of things that any game master can steal from or be inspired by. Okay, even though you can't see it, for the first time, maybe ever, I actually typed up some notes. So if you hear some paper shuffling, it's me going through my notes. So this is new to me rather than just off the cuff. All right. I will start by saying I have never run Hero Kids. I was apprehensive to checking it out because there is so much free stuff out there. However, Hero Kids is not free. However, as of the date of this recording, March 4th, 2024, there is the GM's Day sale going on, which I didn't know that there is a National Game Masters Day. I think it was March 1st or 2nd, but they are having a sale, and part of the sale is Hero Kids. So, click on it here. It actually makes me want to check out more stuff from this company, which I never even knew was more than just Hero Kids, called Hero Forge Games. So let's actually go open that up. Okay, so normally $5.99, $6. And yes, I can afford $6. But again, there's so many free systems out there. So, it went to the bottom of the list. Okay, so the GM sale is $3.60, right? Not make or break, but the whole kit, or a large substantial amount of the kit, or what would they call it, a bundle, is on sale. So let's see. Here we go. The PDF bundle, which offers 75% off Hero Kids products. $0? What? You may be eligible for a discount. It's free? I paid money for it. Well, $102. Let's see if I can get something different to display. Oh, this login system, I am logged in. Let's try this. Let's try this again. Third time. Third time's the charm. Oh, it worked. Okay. Oh, but we're on this system. I'm not a big, huge fan of the new layout, but it is what it is. All right, Heroes Kids bundle. There we go. $19.99. All right. You saw it. It said $0. I wonder how you can get it for free, but a little over $100 down to $20. I said, yeah, okay, I'm going to pull the trigger, and it has tons of included stuff. I'm going to go over just a fraction of it. But I think if you listen to this and you run a table with kids, I would say pull the trigger. For $20, what you get is totally worth it. Okay, let's go back here. A couple of things off the bat, just me and my preference. It is not an A4 or A5 layout. It's kind of like notebook sized. It's not even quite traditional landscape. So actually, you know what? That's just looking at it, but if I were to print this out, let's see, go print. And I guess it is 8.5 by 11. Okay. Yes, it is landscape. Okay, no, but here, see, I guess this is slightly different. So here are example PCs that you can have, pre-made characters, and that's portrait. So that's going to print landscape, and just, I guess 90% of it, if not more, is landscape. And I don't know. I would rather not have two columns, and I'd rather have like a zine format. Okay, that's me. That's take it or leave it, right? Another thing I really like, it is kid friendly, which we'll get into, but there is an opposed roll combat. We'll go into the details when we get to the combat section, but I think that is super awesome. I'm bouncing all over. This happens every single episode. I get excited. I even have notes, and I'm already off the notes. I like when we get to the characters, the abilities, skills, and bonuses. There's different things that really can personalize a kid's character. However, my biggest con or strike is this is made for kids, but it is, in my opinion, made for kid players. It is not very friendly for kid DMs. If this is your first episode, you're checking out of me. I teach middle school, and I run D&D clubs. In one of my summer school gigs, we get kids entering 4th and 5th grade, which is like 9 and 10-year-olds, which is at the upper echelon of this. And I've worked really hard to find things and make things that make becoming a DM or GM approachable, and I don't really think Hero Kids succeeds at that. And I'll show that with multiple examples. Okay, there's my pros and cons, but now let's go through and discuss. Okay. Looking at my notes, I'm already... Uh-oh. I have page 1, but this is page 7. Okay. It comes with a setting. The Brecon Vale. You live in a small village, Rivenshore, which is nestled in a tight valley beneath a range of towering mountains. Rivenshore would be a beautiful place to live if it weren't beset by an endless series of calamities. Okay. This goes down to 4 years old. Was the range from 4 to 10. A 4-year-old is going to struggle with the words beset, probably calamities. The village is on the eastern shore of the Camarva River. The river runs fast and crooked from the mountains down through the valley, the Brecon Vale, and out into a small bay. To the east of the village are the dark and wild Darkenwold woods. which have claimed many foolish travelers. The Brecon Vale is bounded by the Druin Ho Mountains, their snow-covered peaks cloaked in a cloud. The Vale should be a haven for its civilized inhabitants, but instead it keeps them in close proximity to no end of threats that offer boundless opportunities for adventure. That's... Ugh. I don't know if that is the most kid-friendly. I would say a lush, green-filled valley filled with everyday common folk trying to find ways to improve their community. Surrounded by Riven Shore are the Gray Mountains. Steep peaks filled with trouble. Beyond there, the unknown lands. Right? That was on the spot, and I would give myself a C+ for that. But I think at the very end there, I stuck the landing, the unknown lands. That is intriguing. Right? What's in there? I don't know. It's unknown. I would rewrite this to make it kid-friendly. If you are watching the video of this, text that is in a box like that is supposed to be read to players. And I would use more kid-friendly wordage. Is wordage a word? It is now. Okay. Let's see. Playing the game. Now, what is a skirmish, delve, exploration, role-playing? Role-playing, you and I should hopefully know. It's where you pretend to be somebody, something else. But these skirmish, delve, and exploration are interesting terms. Again, I don't like them. For the type of play, if you are trying to explain this to kids, to a, let's just say 5-year-old, 6-year-old, all right, you want to play a skirmish tonight? Do you want to delve tonight? Or do you want to explore tonight? Essentially, they are... skirmish is a one... what's the word I'm looking for? One encounter. One encounter. Okay? Because younger kids, short attention spans, learning the rules... you don't necessarily need to have, a whole campaign for kids that are just exploring the role-playing game hobby. So skirmish is an encounter. Delve is like a one-shot. Maybe a 2-hour one-shot. And exploration is a multi-chained campaign. It could be 2 to 5 sessions, or more, but that's kind of the vibe that they're going for there. I do like that they include bullet points of like, hey, this is what these are. But the verbiage, again, I don't necessarily think if DMs were to explain these to players, they would quite understand. Also, giving this to a 10-year-old, I don't think they would understand what the purpose of the different styles of play. I'm not an expert, but I do have experience, again, in working with kids with these. Okay. So that was some of the cons, but here's a major pro I like. I love this dice mechanic. And essentially, we've got this sword, bow, fire, flame, and a shield. And it is melee and strength. I think it's officially strength used for melee. Dexterity used for range attacks, and other things. And then magic and defense. The way the system works, you have a maximum of 3 dice, and you build up your dice pool this way. So your characters are unique. If you are really, well, I'll use the words here, if you are awesome at something, then you get to roll 3 dice, add them together. If you're good, you get to roll 2 dice. If you don't have the skill, you can't roll a dice. And if you're mediocre, you get 1 dice. Now, I don't have it on my notes here, but in the future, I think when you are doing a skill test, perception, sneaking, things like that, you get what's called a base dice. So whether or not, like if we look at magic here, the example that says none with the X through it, well, if you want to attempt magic, you get at least 1 dice. No matter what your player wants to do, they get to roll 1 dice. Okay? Bottom right corner here, examples, examples. Excuse me. I really do like this. If you are a really good attacker, you get to roll 3 dice. And if you are going against a monster, which is typical for a combat, then you roll that monster's defense dice. If they are low level, they probably only have 1 dice. The chances that your 3 dice will be higher than the 1 dice, somebody reading / listening, watching this, is going to quick know the math that say, oh, well, there's, 12% chance of failure at that rate. Okay, great. Still can happen. And with the D6 pool, there's the bell curve. It's not as swingy as a D20, which I harp on a lot. Okay? And vice versa, if you're not great at attacking, you're better at other things, and you're going against a 2 dice defender or a 3 dice defender, there's still that chance. It's unlikely, but there's still that chance. And I should say it's also a major pro is it's so much more dynamic than armor class. Armor class is, pick a number 16. And once players figure that out, I guess it's nice knowing, okay, I have to roll a 16, and that will make combat faster. Everybody complains combat is slow. But I like that it's more dynamic. It's going to change. If you roll more dice, you are statistically better, but, things are going to happen. Combat is crazy. You're going to slip. I've been having this thought lately for some combat system that, if I got hit with something, I should probably have disadvantage on my next turn. Like, we play D&D, and I'm definitely not the first person to talk like this. You play D&D, and it's just like a hit point slog, I think is the term people say. You're at 100% efficiency until you're knocked out. And so with this system, maybe you roll well, and you'll never get beat, you'll never get hit. But there's always that chance. It's changing. The being dynamic is the best word I can think of. And in all the systems I've looked at, I can't think of another one that has opposed roles like this for combat. A player's attack or magic versus a defender's defense, where both are rolling. And I think the potential there is huge. Now, for the rule system, they cap you at 3, plus maybe that base dice, which we'll get into. But it is so scalable. You could have 10. You're a level. I don't think they count levels. We'll get into how you advance. You basically increase your dice count. But I mean, even though in the official rules it says you cap at 3, but go to 4, right? And then your defender can have 4 dice of defense. And right now it sounds exciting to me. Maybe it's a drag if you're like rolling 8d6s. To me, that sounds fun. But yes, it is more math. Yes, it is slower. I have the second edition of West End Games Star Wars, which is still relatively popular. I know for the time it was massively popular, and I kind of think that's how it went. I think you really had huge dice pools. Maybe it also had like add +1, +2, and if I remember, we'll talk about that, how that could be a magic item that you can do. You roll your dice +1. I don't think they talk about that in here, but that is an option. Okay. Love the mechanics. Love the opposing rolls. Okay. Page 11. My notes here say 3 hitboxes. I guess it works for kids with no math. So here's an example of a hero card or a character sheet. And no matter the weapon you have, it deals 1 damage. Now we're going to talk about how there are, I think they're called equipment cards, and they give your players added effects, which is very cool, reminiscent of Omega Fantasy 2. Go check out that episode. I think it is amazing. And so what happens is you are hit once, you're bruised. As far as I know, no mechanical difference to that. You get hit twice, you're hurt. No mechanical difference for that. And then you get hit again, you're knocked out. Right? I just ran the Perils in Pinebrook, which is the 2023 Wizards of the Coast Thanksgiving gift, I guess, after the OGL debacle. And I ran it for third and fourth graders. I didn't set it up. I was just the DM doing it, but I can't remember if it was third and fourth or just fourth graders. But anyways, they have condensed rules for that. It's made for like family that have never played D&D. They're coming over for Thanksgiving. How can we get to playing the story as quick as possible? They've got pre-made characters. There are no ability scores, just ability modifiers. And there's no initiative. It's just whoever wants to act first. And there's other things. But I did notice that even in the pared down system, these kids did not want to track their hit points. It's right on the sheet. Hit points, I think, was like 16 for the fighter. They said, okay, you got hit, you lost 4 points. And unless I made them subtract that, they wouldn't do it. I don't know if it was a little bit of cheating, or, I mean, they obviously can do the math of 16 minus 4, but I kind of just said, all right, you take 4 damage, and then I moved along. And so maybe there's a couple factors in there that I didn't explain good enough, like where the number is, what it represents. So I think for more advanced players, this is too simple. But the target that it's for, I think this is like a 3-strike system and you're out. And I think that's pretty slick. Okay, so I already went over strength, dexterity. Oh, I just said magic. It was intelligence for the magic, which controls your magic. Okay, next page. 12, I says, need a cheat sheet for all the drawings. So kind of confusing here. I'm going to go backwards, actually. We have the melee attack, special action, bonus ability, and skills. Okay, melee attack, I think kids would understand that. What are you attacking with? Okay. Special action. I'll see if I can find the exact definition of it. But this is like your main feature, your main attack goal. When I think of this, I think Mortal Kombat, and every fighter has their own style, but brain fart. Scorpion has got the get over here. Sub-Zero freezes. The Jackie Chan type guy's got the bicycle kick. Johnny Cage has got the crotch punch. What's like kind of like their signature move. All right. And then the bonus ability is, when I read the exact definition, it's kind of like the always on ability. The definition will give the better terms, but it's like a paladin's aura. It's just always happening. Okay, and then inventory and skills. So here we've got a potion, food, and now this is a skill. So my critique on page 12 here is that on the character sheet, make it double-sided or something, there should be some sort of cheat sheet for what all these symbols mean. And also, I don't think a kid is going to draw these. Like, look at this mount. I don't think any kid is going to draw this mount on their character sheet. Now, if they have a pre-made character, sure, but it doesn't say what these are. And I think that's a missed opportunity. So, here we go. Okay, normal attack. All heroes and monsters have a normal attack action, which is their melee, ranged, or magic attack. Some characters may have more than one normal attack. These normal attacks deal 1 damage. So I had already mentioned that. Ranged attack, up to 6 squares away. I do think that is something beneficial and something that I didn't take any notes on because I don't use it, but they've got a pretty good, pretty simplistic paper minis to use at the table, and giving kids the physical awareness of their characters, the space of where they're at, is very beneficial. Okay, the special action, in addition to their normal attack, heroes and monsters have a unique special attack or action. These special attacks and actions are more complicated than the normal attacks, so the younger players might need help. Criticism: no examples of what a special action is or special attack. Yes, I can go back. Okay, so here's the whirlwind attack. Split your melee dice to make melee attacks at multiple adjacent targets. I can see how that's confusing for the younger kids, for sure. But I will give it major praise. That is a mechanic that I've never thought of. Imagine in D&D if you know that the armor class of something you're fighting is 14. And you have the ability to say, okay, well, if I roll... I don't think this would work. I just had it happen. Let's say you know it's 14, and then you have a combat where you roll like 25. I'm a level 6 paladin in my campaign, plus 4 for strength, 3 proficiency bonus. I rolled an 18, 25. So if you knew that you had an AC of 14 and an AC of 11, that's a pretty low AC. Just think if you could attack multiple adjacent targets because your attack rating was so high. I've thought about if your attack roll is so high, then your damage increases, something like that. But this whirlwind, you can split your attacks. If you know that you're fighting like a low-level bat and it has 1 dice for defense and you have 3 dice, sure, take that gamble that you can use 2 dice on one bat and then 1 dice on another. That's a design concept that I think is fascinating. Okay. Then we have the bonus ability. Here we go. Passive. Passive is the word I couldn't think of. Each character's bonus ability is a passive ability that reflects their special training, abilities, and nature. Well, rather than call it bonus ability, call it passive ability. Okay, these abilities might enhance attacks or armor or grant a unique benefit in a specific circumstance. Example, teamwork. When a target is engaged, your attacks against the target gain 1 extra die. Perfect. Kind of like pack tactics. Evasive maneuver. When you're damaged by an attack, you can immediately move 1 square. Love it. Magic resistance. When defending magic attacks, your armor pool gains 1 extra die. Love it, love it, love it. These are all great. Okay? But kind of a lot to manage. And then it says here, additionally, some heroes have other unique abilities. Dark vision, flying, mount. Okay? Just a little... When we get to the these wolf prints, then we'll kind of see how, like, yeah, it's a lot going on. So here we go. Skills. Heroes have skills to use in exploration, adventuring, and role-playing. Heroes gain an extra dice when attempting ability tests where they have a relevant skill. Insight, knowledge, monsters, perception, persuasion, tracking. Strength is just athletics. Dexterity has acrobatics, crafting, stealth. And then I guess another criticism I have when looking at this, it's like inventory doesn't really differ much from intelligence, strength, and dexterity. Like the font choice is a little hard to read because I was about to go right into inventory, but those things are different. Okay, so heroes have skills to use in exploration, adventuring, and role-playing. Heroes gain extra dice when attempting ability tests where they have a relevant skill. Here is tracking. That's what the paw prints are. The hero can follow the trail of people or animals from signs of their presence, like the footprints. Okay? Again, if this is aimed at kids, the hero can follow the trail of people or animals from signs of their presence. I don't think a 4-year-old's going to know what that means. So again, this has to be like adult-led. Just another example. And I think when we get to character creation, if I remember correctly, I don't know if it tells you what skill you can pick. You kind of rely very heavily on these pre-made character sheets. Okay, inventory. Heroes can hold items in their inventories. These items are used as an action. Healing potions remove damage. Other items are handy in exploration and role-playing. Potion, rope, food, gold, herbs. Let's just read herbs. Special herbs are the key ingredient used to make healing potion. Oh, well, we already have healing potion. Healing potions heal heroes to full health and can also be used on a damaged or KO'd ally. Okay. Well, if I have an herb, does that just instantly become a potion? What is the recipe to make a potion? Confusing. Food. Morsels are also very handy, especially for distracting monsters. Okay. Love that. But do I need food or I take damage? I need to eat food or I roll 1 less dice? Doesn't say. as far as I know. Okay, 14. Equipment and items. What do my notes say? I love that items, even base items, give abilities. So, here we have equipment. Equipment includes armor, weapons, and unique magic items that the heroes can wear or wield. A hero can only use one piece of equipment at a time. Heroes can own multiple pieces of equipment, but can only switch between them when not in combat. Okay, so a Raider's Battle Axe. You give kids this and they are jacked. I know. They love handouts like this. Reaping Strike. When you KO an enemy with a melee attack, you can immediately make a melee attack at another adjacent target. Fine print, you can only use one piece of equipment at a time. All right? If you knock somebody out, nice job. Attack again if they're close. Great. Love it. Easy to read, easy to understand. Items and boons. Items are one-time use things, but I forget what a boon is. Boons are special favors that the heroes earn in their adventures. Unlike normal items, boons can be used at any time, even during an enemy's turn. So here we have an item. Baboom, a bomb. Make one die attacks at a target or square up to 5 squares away and all adjacent targets. So you throw a bomb and you hit multiple targets in an area. Okay, obviously you use it once and it explodes, so you can't use it again. Boons, I don't necessarily think that's a good term. It should be single-use items and multiple-use items. Single-use items and repeat items. Single-use items and forever items. Think like Link in Breath of the Wild. He's got, well, bad example. He's got unlimited bombs, but arrows. You can use up all your arrows. Those are single-use. But I guess bombs would be the forever use, multiple use, things like that. Okay. Health and damage. What am I got for my notes here? 15. No math damage. I get it, but ... comma on my notes. You know, I actually kind of love kind of realistic and less gamey. Much like your stats, where you can roll, as the game says, up to 3 dice. What's stopping you from increasing it? What's stopping you from saying you go up to 10 dice? Well, do the same thing with your health. You've got KO, hurt, bruised. Why don't you go like better than okay? Like feeling great, feeling superior, godlike, something like that. And I didn't like it, and I came around the, why do we have to have quote unquote traditional hit points with numbers? I understand their purpose, but you know, isn't it a feel bad when you hit and then you roll low damage? It's a feel bad. So a way around that is, okay, you still roll to hit in this system. You got to beat the opposed roll, but then you're guaranteed to take off one check, whatever it is, KO, or wouldn't be KO, bruised, okay, hurt, whatever. And then through the abilities, like we can go to an axe, and there's no reason that you couldn't have like the well-forged, sharpened axe. And that deals 2 damage. 2 slots, we'll say. I know in the new version of Mothership, First Edition, they've got the wounds system, and I'm still wrapping my brain around how that all works, where there's like hit points per the wound. You can lose an entire wound, but you have like 10 hit points per wound, and if you have 1 hit point left in the wound and you get hit by a major attack, do you just lose that 1 hit point for the wound? Do you lose whatever the full amount of a wound is and you're left with your 1 hit point as your 1 wound left? Still, my brain's too small to figure that all out. But I kind of like that there are no numbers for this. And again, for kids who this is targeted to, totally makes sense. They can see right in front of them. They know, hey, if I get hit 3 times, I'm done. Not good. Okay, versus, well, if he's going to hit, I hope he hits low, which can be exciting, I guess. I dodged. Oh, he hit me, but I'm still up. He didn't hit me bad enough. I get that. But I feel like this is more black and white. And for kids, I feel like that's pretty great. And again, you can extend this rather than just okay, bruised, hurt, and knocked out. You can give yourself more boxes. Why not? All right. Talks about healing and potions, resting. Great. My next thing of note I have here is page 18. Initiative. Fast. Here are my notes. Fast, in player's favor, should be re-rolled every turn. Generous actions. Attack, special action, use an item, and move. These are all the things that you can do. So, one player rolls a d6 for initiative. If they roll high, players go first. If monsters roll high, they go first. And I think that's just how it goes back and forth. If that's the system that you're going to do, I think it should be back and forth. And I think that's easy enough to do every round to start over. I think players should be rewarded for that. Maybe some sort of advantage, like if there are more players than there are enemies, then they roll with advantage, or for every additional player there are over monsters, they add 1 to their dice because they are more free to position around the battlefield, less likely to be snuck up upon, taken advantage of through the landscape. But I understand that that's more rules, more complex. This is simple and straightforward. Let's see, rounds. One team goes, then the other teams goes. Players go, or monsters go, and then players go. Actions. Okay, here we go. Actions include the hero's normal attack, their special action, and using items. The player can also use their hero's action to double their movement distance. So their normal action can be dash, if you know D&D. Okay? So the possible actions include a normal attack, melee, ranged, or magic, a special action defined on the hero's card. So let's go to special action. Let's go back here. You can attack and you can heal for this character. If we go back here, you can attack and you can do a whirlwind attack. For kids, that's pretty sweet. I have in my notes that it's in their player's favor. They're going to be dealing a lot of damage. And maybe not points-wise, but they're going to be checking off a lot of boxes. And I think that will get kids very excited for combat. They're really going to enjoy it. Rather than just, oops, I hit, I missed, now what? Oh, sorry, now you got to wait 15 minutes. Here, they're going to be doing something. So that's pretty great. Movement is done in squares. How do you know if you won combat? Combat continues until all of the members of a side are KO'd. Hopefully, this is the monsters. While there are still monsters or heroes, continue looping through turns. If the players are defeated, then you'll need to improvise to get the story back on track. Notice it doesn't say died. It just says knocked out. And so I think the obvious one we would go to is, whatever monster you were fighting, they either run off, because it's like a bat. Bat's not going to eat you alive. Or it's a set of goblins, and they take you back to their leader. right? Now you're captured and you got to figure your way out. Those are probably like the two go-tos for that. So cool. Okay. Page 19 here, adventuring. My notes here say, I get that it's optional, but me personally, my weakest knowledge base. So I would have loved to have had some more / better examples here. On page 21 coming up, they do have some examples on adventuring. So, adventuring. I need to improve on this. I've talked about in other episodes how if we are traveling long distances, I like a hex grid, roll for each hex, and if it's safe terrain, roll a d20. If it's a, at-risk terrain in the woods, known gang activity, etc., roll a d8. And on an 8, then there's an encounter or something like that. So mine are very hex-based. Here it just says children's abilities explode between 4 and 10. So there's a large gap between the capabilities of the younger and older players of Hero Kids. I know even when I started D&D, I didn't know what I could or couldn't do. I've come to learn I can say whatever I want. But at the time, I didn't know, and these kids, they don't know what they don't know. So they have a hard enough time figuring out what can their character do, let alone what can they do when they're out traveling on the road or in the woods. So it says here, if you have older players and want to challenge them a bit, you can integrate some adventuring mechanics, such as ability tests, inventory, and skills, but no examples. Well, yeah, no examples, but I think on page 21, I think they do talk some. Okay. Ability tests. They go strength, dexterity, and intelligence of things that you can do. Bash a locked door, jump a crevice, lift something heavy, climb a wall or tree. Great. What can you use your skills for? I think that would have made sense if you used it earlier in the rule set here on page 11. Like, here are examples of when you would use your stats. Okay. Page 20. Okay, right here, my note. Base die, ? Mentioned very poorly on the previous page, and it's disjointed from the examples. So, we've kind of gone over combat, and I love combat. Combat is an opposing roll. When you are doing a skills test or an ability, I can't say skills because that's different. That's like tracking. An abilities test, you've got this chart here. Target number, roll high. Easy is 4, normal is 5, hard is 6. Okay. Now, anytime a character wants to do something, they roll a base die. And as I said, it was mentioned poorly here. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Right here. For an ability test, the players roll 1 base die plus the dice pool from their hero's relevant characteristics, plus they gain 1 extra die if they have a relevant skill or item. It's a lot. It's good that it's a lot, but you would then have to tell that 4-year-old, okay, roll an arbitrary 1 dice, then your strength is 2, so roll those dice. Then, do you also have an item or a skill? Then roll those dice. Trust me, I like rolling dice, but there's got to be a cleaner, more elegant way of doing that. I would say drop the base dice. Does that skew the numbers? Maybe. But make easy a 2. Make normal 3 and hard a 4. Then you can drop the base dice. So you just say, okay, what's your stat? And what's your... I would change it from skill, too, because I don't think that's a great word for it. But what's your stat? And one other thing to add to boost your number. So I get it. Having a base die, every character, whether you're skilled or not, should be able to do it. But if you skew the numbers, you just roll off your ability. And if we go back to any character sheet here, like, look, there's no strength and there's no dexterity for this healer. So what are they going to roll? I get it. But clunky. Clunky is the word I would say. Combat, super elegant. Ability checks, clunky. All right. Okay, my notes here say, having said all this, I like the dice pool system. I also like that this system could, in theory, keep scaling. So I've talked about this. Sure, you could keep adding your dice. So I've already talked about that. Page 21. My notes say, perfect. 7 things with examples to implement into your game. Choices, secrets, gates, obstructions, puzzles, hazards, traps. I would have loved to have had this page when I ran my 11-month campaign. Great. Not only can I just directly pull from these, they're great inspiration. So let's look at a hazard. A deep pit trap filled with venomous snakes. Yeah, could have found a way to implement that for sure. I know that I did something similar where players had to scale down a well. Was it a well? Doesn't matter. They had to scale down something with rope, and if they slipped and fell, then they were in a pit with poisonous spikes. But for a new game master, these ideas here are great. The secrets, I like this one. A dead-end corridor with a faint breeze. If you tell your players, a 4-year-old, maybe not, but all right, you come to the end of the corridor, but why don't you roll your intelligence for me? Anything greater than a 2. You feel there's a breeze coming from the wall right in front of you. And then maybe they think something of it, maybe they don't, maybe give them a little more information. It's as if there's a hole or a crease, and maybe there's a hidden door or loose rocks, something like that. So page 21 here, great game master advice. Great. Page 22, I have here good information. Would have loved for it to be more kid-friendly. Coaxing their voice. I don't really use fake voices, but that could be a really fun part for kids and anybody. But again, this is targeted towards kids. And so it says here, over time, the players will build their confidence to make decisions and speak as their characters, which is cool to see. I know a lot of my students don't do that. What a lot of my kids do, middle schoolers, mostly I see this from 5th graders, they act it out. And it's kind of a problem. We play in our library, and usually during combat, kids are like chasing each other. So I got to stop what I'm doing, and I have to yell at them and say, no, we're not LARPing. Right? It's theater of the mind. Or if a kid has drawn it out, like that's where this resolves. Right? Go sit down, you punk. But it's good advice in here. How to play a hero, harnessing imaginations, getting kids excited about role-playing. Good info here. I like that. Okay. 23. Alternate attack effects! ! Awesome! This makes combat much more dynamic. D&D is just a slugfest. Now, this is going to be a reference that nobody is going to get. But when reading this, it reminded me of Fortnite Monopoly. My kids and I bought Fortnite Monopoly at Goodwill for like, I don't know, $3, $4. And this summer we played it for like 2 weeks straight. And when you land on a treasure spot, like in Monopoly, you could get a special weapon that would say you can shoot around walls. Okay? So what happens is players are going around the board and you can build a wall to defend yourself. Well, if somebody shoots out your wall, now you're vulnerable to the next attack. Well, you can only shoot in what's called line of sight. And so you can only shoot at somebody that's on the same side of the board as you. Think of a standard 4-sided Monopoly board. And so then you could get a new power up that said you could shoot anywhere on the board. So now you can combine those to say you can shoot anybody on the board and you can shoot their walls down. There was another one that said, I think it was like double damage. And now you can combine these together. You can, or maybe it was 2 attacks instead of double damage. You could shoot a wall down and shoot a player from anywhere on the board. And that's what this goes into. The special abilities and weapons that you can get, you can combine them to get more powerful, more dynamic effects. And I think that is super cool. That's a great idea. More advanced, but hence the title of the page, more advanced combat. Great for older kids. Love it. Okay. Page 25 here. My notes say splitting attacks. Love it. Make it harder to hit, but rewarding when it does. So I've kind of already talked about this. If you have 3 strength dice for your melee, split them up. That's so great. Why do you have to concentrate it all on one? If you are that confident that you can hit a creature with 1 dice, let's see, can we do multiple adjacent targets? So if you've got, let's see, let me read it, make sure I get it right. Warriors normally have 2 dice for the melee attacks, allowing them to attack 1 target with 2 dice, or use their whirlwind attack to strike targets with 1 die each. However, if a warrior gained 1 extra melee die, such as through a piece of equipment or an item, then they could attack 2 or 3 adjacent enemies. 1 die each against 3 enemies, or 2 dice against one and 1 against the other. Yep. Super cool, super dynamic. That is a great strategy. Great mechanic, I should say. Okay. Page 26, creating heroes. Examples of special action, bonus abilities, and skills? Question mark. Let's see, what do we have next? Example. Okay. So here's how you make a hero. What sort of hero? The first thing to consider is what sort of character they want. A melee fighter, a skillful archer or knife thrower, a well-armored warrior, a powerful warlock, or even a versatile hero who can use multiple attacks. Okay? Super easy for some kids. Like I've talked about my kids at school. I'm Link from Zelda. Perfect. I'm Steve from Minecraft. Perfect. I'm whatever, insert whatever fictional character. Perfect. Got it. Okay. Allocating dice. Each of the pre-made heroes in Hero Kids is built with a 4 dice method. When using this method, the heroes are built by allocating the 4 dice amongst the character's 4 abilities: melee, ranged, magic, and armor. However, the first die allocated to the ranged and magic abilities cost 2 dice instead of 1. That's to show that they require more skill. And I think that's super great. You will have less dice, but there should be a trade-off for you who gets to hang back and shoot arrows away from combat versus somebody who's up in somebody's face with a club or sword, being closer to danger. So, love the trade-off. Normal attacks, melee, ranged, and magic. Special action. Each hero's special action is a unique attack or alternate action that reflects the hero's specialization. No examples. Yeah, you could ask a kid, okay, what do you want to be really good at? But I think a list of a D10 list at least to pull from definitely should be there. Bonus ability. These are those passive things. The hero's bonus ability is something that happens automatically, such as added dice to attacks or armor during combat in specific circumstances. No examples. Major miss. Inventory and skills. The last element of the heroes is their inventory and skills. Again, look to the character's specialization to think of appropriate items and skills in this area. I believe I had mentioned this before. How many items, how many skills? Oh yeah, I get 3 skills because that's how good I am. It does say plural here. So we'll talk about advancement. But at the default core rulebook, kind of a punt, if you ask me. Special action, bonus ability, inventory, and skills. Don't like the names. Don't like that they don't have examples. Cool that I can do all of them during combat, but okay. Now, okay, considerations. This is like the safety thing. Violence, religion, morality, got it. Hints and tips, check it out, whatever. Glossary of terms, great. All right, here we go. Hero examples. And if I remember correctly, there are quite a bit here. So this is kind of where it's good and it's bad. Here you're going to want to print these out, and kids can look at the melee attacks, the special actions, and the bonus abilities. You hand this to a kid, they can probably figure out potions. They can probably figure out food. They're not going to know what food does. And they're definitely not going to know what this tracking is. There's no way they're going to know this is rope, and there's no way they're going to know what this is. So I had said before, like a cheat sheet on here, or if I go to the next page, we just go on to more examples. This should be formatted with a cheat sheet on the back. What do these skills mean? How do I roll a skill check? The base dice plus my stat plus a bonus ability plus something for my inventory. I don't know. So that's a miss. The examples, while not in the rules, but special actions, bonus abilities, that's where these come from. So there's a warrior, a hunter, a warlock. Let me just say 2 warlocks, a brute, a rogue, a healer, a knight, and then you can create your own characters. For shame, I think they kind of trips and fumbles with the create your own. Like, yes, it's the 4 dice system, but what's a normal attack, special action, bonus ability? I don't know. Yes, the DM, GM should be the one that to help, and yes, but this could have been more kid-friendly. Okay, I had mentioned that they have these miniatures. Print these off, tape them, glue them. They've got kind of built-in stances. Yeah, they are a little cheap, a little chintzy, but they're better than nothing, and some kid's going to like it. All right, monsters. This is kind of like my eye-opening of the opposed roles, and I love it. Great quote-unquote monster manual here. It gives their attack, special attack, and bonus ability. Really gives flavor to all the monsters. You can tell right away if they're high level or low level based on the dice, like a giant rat. They've got 1 attack, 1 defense, and only 1 hit, and they're knocked out. The giant spider, 1 attack, but 2 for defense, and they can get hit twice. They've got their spider bite, special ability, bonus ability, Climber. Okay? I think these bad guys here are really fleshed out and well done, and come with their own printout miniatures, which is great. And there's a map of the world and then a printer friendly black and white version of it. Okay. At its core, how do I want to say it? I think this is a great system for kids. There's more things to go over. They're not done yet. I think this is a great system for kids. However, misses the mark in that I don't think kids could figure this out on their own. With tweaking, definitely. I think the strength is in the combat. You hand this to somebody, a kid, they can pretty quickly figure things out. Now the skills, that's I think like the biggest weakness. What does this book mean? What does that mean? Put a cheat sheet on here. Make it a full page. Make the character sheet here not just the information for your character, but the rules of the game. Like, there are definitely character sheets that do that. So that's a way that it could be improved, I think. Okay. So based on the core rule book, I give it a B+. I think many a kid-focused table would really enjoy this. You know what? A-. No, I'm going to say B+. I think maybe I'm missing the mark. I'm processing it real time, but I really wish kids could figure this out. 4-year-old, that's a little tough. I've got personally a soon-to-be 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, and if I were to give this to my 7-year-old, I think she would struggle. My 9-year-old, he could probably figure it out. And again, the range here is 4 to 10. So, okay. But like I said, not done. So, do I have it? Yes, I do. Okay. In the bundle currently on sale right now, there are adventures, there are equipment cards, there are tons of heroes, and tons of more monsters. So we're going to just quickly go over these. Monster Compendium. Quick list here. Bats, boars, brigands, bugbears, commoners, cultists, dragon lords, flaming skull, gargoyle, ghosts. Gorgon? Is that what it said? A demigorgon? Well, look, more skeletons, rats, ratlings. And so, just quick go through here. We don't need to go through all of them. Boars, thundering hooves, river of red. When miners recently reopened an abandoned pit high in the Druenhau Mountains, they discovered a rich vein of iron ore. In mining and refining the raw ore, the miners dumped the mine's tailings into a nearby stream. What 4-year-old is going to know what tailings are? I don't know what they are. I'm 39. Dumped the mine's tailings into a nearby stream, turning its once clear waters blood red. The spoiled stream runs from the mountains into the darkened wold woods. The forest creatures that rely on the stream are corrupted by the contaminants that foul the water. Mutated and enraged, the creatures now carry nature's fury to nearby settlements. So it gives you a little bit of a history. However, if you read that to a 4-year-old, what? Like, miners poisoned the water, and now they're mutating. Great. Now, is that what this dire boar is? I would call it a mutated boar, but that's just me. It's got good stories, names, bugbears. Let's see. Let's go to the Gorgon. What does the Gorgon look like? I am on a frog kick right now, so probably the main reason why I'm even talking about this is because there are these froglings here. I just love it. Gorgon. Gnolls, goblins. Oh, that's a Gorgon, all right. Not the Demigorgon. But look, you can tell that this is a high-level character. It's got 3 attack, 3 strength, 2 dexterity, 2 magic, 2 defense. Like, not messing around there. A Gorillion? That's cool. That Guardian is cool. The art on this, I usually speak high praise of the art. The art is perfect for kids. This Hydra is perfect. Like, well, let's talk this Helm Knight actually. Let me zoom in on it. You probably wouldn't show this to kids per se. Maybe they've got the printed it off miniatures later. But I feel like that is cartoony enough to be safe, but creepy enough to be scary. I think the art is on point for the demographic they're going for here. And actually, let's go to the end. Do they have the miniatures? Whoa, I don't know if I saw this at the end here. What is this going on? Oh, zombies. Let's see. Non-invulnerable. You can only be KO'd by attacks that roll a 6 on an attack die. Well, that's a 5e mechanic. Hero power. Oh, that's... Okay, calculating... Ooh, environments. Oh, I didn't know this was here. Monster name. Oh, the monsters and where you would find them. Ooh. And the power level? Ooh, what does power mean? Actually, let me figure that out. Hero power. Together, each hero's might and longevity will affect their power, giving a baseline of 12 power. 4 times 3. Okay. Heroes assign 4 dice to their abilities and armor, and they all have 3 health. The 4 dice assigned to their abilities and armor reflect the hero's might, and the 3... That's me, Heath. Should be health. 3 health reflects their longevity. For heroes who used ranged or magic abilities which cost extra dice to assign, their lower ability dice are balanced by their longer range. Yeah, we said this. Thus, all heroes have the same effective power. Together, each hero's might and longevity reflect their overall power. Okay, so 12 times 3. Great. How to calculate this. So this is kind of like CR rating. I didn't know. I completely missed that. Maybe I'll have to go back and see if that is like superior to the challenge rating system in 5e, which gets a bad rap of being just awful. Okay, and then I said that they have other things here. I don't know. The Road to Ruin. I'm on this like Metal Gear kick. I'm excited to check this out. Forge Engine, is that universal? I believe it is. Yeah, universal role-playing system. I'm excited to check all that out. So, super cool. But wait, there's more. Equipment cards. Let's see. Is this one portrait? Yeah, see, this one's portrait. Why? Everything else is landscape. All right. But these are great. These are essentially magic items. Okay. You can only use one piece of equipment at a time. Defender's Shield. Move 1 die from your armor pool to an adjacent ally's armor pool until the start of your next turn. Great. Boomerang Buckler. Ranged attack with your armored dice at a target up to 4 squares away. But until the start of your next turn, your armor pool has no dice. Super, I don't know if I'm overusing this word, but I'm going to say super dynamic. Like, this is great. Combat is great. Yeah, I am hesitant to give it an A-. If I were to scale it out, combat, A+. Ability checks, role-playing, your character, B-. Adventuring, B for skills, and probably a C+ for adventuring. But that's with a caveat of it does say that it's optional. So I understand why you wouldn't want to spend a lot of space and words and effort on like an optional thing. I get that. Okay. Equipment cards are great. Combat is amazing. I love it. Then here they have extensive amounts of heroes. This is 2 and 3, and I forget what is all in the bundle. I think it goes up to like 4 or something. And all of a sudden my computer wanted to load slow. Come on. Oh, we glitched, and then I think... Is it happening? Okay, we're back. We're back. All right, it has adventures. Let's go Reign of the Dragon. Oh, actually, you know what? I was actually going to talk about this. I got all flustered. Hero cards. And guess what? They're in portrait. Okay, and these are the black and white ones. There must have been color ones. I'm not sure. Or because these were extras, they just didn't put the time into color, which I can understand. And this is great. These pre-made ones, if they give you more and more examples, Swashbuckler, Wolfchild, the miniatures for them. So this one, there must be like 15, 16 different new characters on here. I don't know with all of the expansions how many more examples there are, but there's got to be something for every kid in here. But again, what does this mean? Definitely have no idea what this means. Should be a cheat sheet available. Okay, but then there are also adventures. This is a 10-page adventure. Title pages and stuff eat into it. Oh, what is this? Oh, no, not what I wanted. Nope. Here we go. 57 pages. Excuse me. Sorry for being confuzzled. 57 pages. Adventure. Reign of the Dragon. Encounters. 11. Difficulty. Hard. Duration 120 to 180 minutes, which for me probably means 500 minutes. Okay. And just going over this, again, I would love, and granted I picked the difficult one, I would love a more accessible adventure for a kid to read and run. I think I've got resources on my DriveThruRPG page about that. I think I did an episode on it. I've got the oh man, I am getting old. You know what? Let me pull up my own Spotify and see. Did I name it? I did not. Well, it was like, you know what? I am bad at podcasting, ladies and gentlemen. All right, log in. I thought I was logged in. My library. That's not what I want. Publisher tools. My titles. All titles. What? Well, I am learning. When did I even talk about it? I'm going to have to just cut this all out because it's a waste of everybody's time. Okay. I wish this was more kid-friendly where they could read it and run it. I think I've done a pretty good job of talking about tools and resources for that for kids. And I'll be honest, I have not read this adventure at all, but I love that it's part of the bundle. It really lays out the encounters and it gives you all this text to read. Do I think it's all kid friendly? Not that it's like inappropriate, but will they understand? Like, okay, let me just pick a random one here. You hear a piercing voice ring out and see a young man like yourself astride a huge horse. Why did you just say riding a horse? He wears black armor decorated with draconic scales and teeth. 4-year-olds. Armor that has looks like it's made from dragon scales. Draconic. I don't know if a 4-year-old knows that as a dragon. The cultists scramble to their feet. What do you think you're doing? Gossiping when at any moment some filthy rabble from Rivenshore could be approaching along this very road? The gruff-voiced cultists, sorry, my prince. Is the village not already under our control? The dragon prince replies, barely under control, but soon enough the dragon hatchling will break free from its egg, and then I will have what I need to bring the Vale under the control of my family. Mostly good, but again, astride a huge horse. Who are you trying to impress? Okay, but it's in the bundle, and I think it's great. I think it ties in with the system. Like right here, use these health boxes to mark off damage. It lays out and makes running the adventure easy. It's got the map right here. I don't know if you would print this off, cut it out, and put it in front of your players. Certainly an option. Then let's see. Adventure equipment cards, hero advancement cards. Okay, this is the last thing to go over. How to level up. And this is, let's see, what do they go? Oh, well, here you go. Here's a card for what these skills mean. Now, I think I forgot, but I'm glad these are here, but these should really be in the core rulebook. This is, I believe, part of like an expansion. And if I'm wrong on that, creator, reach out to me and call me an idiot, and I will say you are right. But here's how they advance. And I don't think this is laid out the best. Okay. Hero Chronicle. When there's no experience, so it's milestone leveling. When a GM grants that they have leveled up, it is a little tricky. You check this box. Okay? Then you choose a new special skill or action. Makes sense. Level up, check a new skill, special action, or skill. Great. A new bonus ability. This is where it gets just a little confusing. You need to level up twice before you can get here. Before you can choose a new bonus ability. All right, you want to add a die to an existing pool, you have to level up twice. Add a whole new pool, like you want to become, gain a dice in intelligence because you don't have one. You have to level up 3 times just to get this one. I get it. I think it's a serviceable system. Certainly these new skills here and actions, those are great. But they don't fit on the character sheet. Then you got to be carrying all these cards around, which cards are cool. But now we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these cards for a 4-year-old. Okay, it's the GM's responsibility. I get it, but you know, it is effective. But I would modify it how you want, right? Get rid of these 2 dice. It just happens. Then your characters just power up faster, right? But I'm just talking about the system that is meant for the game. All right. So B+ I rank Hero Kids. I think it is worth your time. If we look at the reviews that it has here, 4.8 out of 5. Out of 106 reviews, 401 ratings, Adamantium bestseller. That is high praise. What is this? Space expansion. I don't own it yet. The bundled price is, I think, worth every penny. You have tons and tons of great combat. Is great. Combat is perfect. I might steal it for my next inspiration. Opposed rolls should be for everything. Even a skill test. Opposed roll. That's how much I'm about this. I just wish it was more kid friendly in that a kid could pick it up and run it. So that's my major criticism, and that's just me. A dad, a parent, is going to pick this up, wanting to get into role-playing games. Perfect system, I think. Perfect for that. D&D, I've talked about it. If you want to actually follow the rules, I struggled with this, especially in my summer school class. Kids have no frame of reference. Do you want to be a half elf or a dragonborn? And then to tell them the benefits of dragon's breath and, your background, it's too much. It's too much for kids in at least the world that I live in, where I have them for a short amount of time and their attention spans. Here you give them a pre-made character sheet and you roll with it, and that's great. All right, well, thanks for listening. Thanks for checking out this episode of Roll Around, Find Out. Keep being creative. See you in the next episode. Later.